Hi, this is Denise Mathew, and welcome to episode 34 of the Mandala of Life, 365 Days to Self-Discovery. Today we're continuing on with collective energy, but we're moving from logical collective energy of the gate 31 to abstract collective energy of the gate 33. We're also staying in the throat center, where the gate 31 was about leadership and influence and predicting patterns in the future. The gate 33 is about remembrance, privacy, sharing the experiences of your life with the collective. This is where history, literature, and all ways that we document the past can be expressed. This is considered a stop codon, or a place where our experience comes to a close, and all that is left is to instill a memory about what we experienced. This is the voice of the history of humanity. Where logic is about the things that may or may not show up in the future, abstract energy is about the experiences we have in life. It's about living life. It's about starting something and not really knowing where it's going, but being open to the experience, whatever way it shows up. When we reach the gate 33, we have gone through an experience, and now it's time for us to remember, to have a moment of solitude or privacy where we can think about what exactly happened. It's only after we've processed our experience that we can truly share. This is the last ingredient that comes with an experience, so eventually we can have a memory. As with all abstract energy, all that endures is memories. And that's why that's the most important part of the abstract process. But before we get into new content, let's briefly go over what we talked about in our last episode. In our last episode, we talked about the gate 31 and that it's logical energy that is all about influence and manifesting influence. This is the voice of leadership, but it's a leadership for the people, one that takes into consideration all the voices of those who follow you. This is also considered projected energy, so unless you're being invited to be an influential leader, it's difficult to take on an effective leadership role. This is the energy that talks about patterns that we might have in the future, of places that we want to go and things that we may want to improve to have more stability in the future. The influence that is manifested within this energy is based on who you are as an individual. This energy can be found in a lot of different places, but especially in politics and also in influencers. This logical leadership is proving yourself as a leader. And if you've done that, the impact you can have on the collective can be astronomical. And if you want to find out more about the Gate 31, please check out episode 33. With that said, let's get into some new content. And please don't forget to check out the other episodes of the Mandala of Life. Many years ago, the only people who shared their experiences with the collective were storytellers who had remembrances of the past or experiences that they had. They would share it with the collective and people would learn from them. If we fast forward to the present time, we can see that the collective has benefited tremendously from all the experiences that we've learned that we can easily access through literature, through videos, and especially through the World Wide Web. It's because of this ability to document the experiences of life that we as a collective have evolved very rapidly. There's no question that humanity has benefited. And in fact, we have experiences that we see through other people that we'll never have ourselves. And yet we can still get a concept of exactly what happened or what it feels like. Without the experiences that have been documented, every generation would have to begin all over again because history is what propels us forward into the future. And the Gate 33 has a big part to play in how we have expanded the amount of information, history and literature, and all the information that we have readily access to whenever we want it. This is the last gate of the quarter of civilization, where purpose is fulfilled through form. The gate 33 is half of the channel of the prodigal, the 1333. Where the gate 13 is the keeper of the secrets, the gate 33 is a voice that says, I remember. Because abstract energy is not a pattern, or it's not logical, or we can't usually replicate it, the concept that people need to believe what we have to say is very important. The full 1333 channel speaks to the concept of there being a witness to the experience. So in fact, two people have an experience, and because of that, it becomes something that is more believable. We can have stories that we tell people, but if we don't have anybody to back up our stories, a lot of times people may not believe exactly what we have to say. This is projected energy. So in other words, it should be invited out of us or acknowledged for us to be able to tell our stories in a way that we're being received exactly the way we want to be. Because when we tell people our secrets, sometimes that can be problematic if it's the wrong timing. If, for instance, we want to buy a house and we tell people that we want to buy a certain house, and we tell them exactly how much we want to pay and the bid we're going to put in. Well, if there's other people who find out this secret before it's time, before we're ready to put the bid in, then it's easy enough for somebody to come in and bid a little bit higher so that they can actually buy the house and we lose out. But if we're taking our time and waiting until the timing is right, and after we've put a bid in, tell people that we've decided to purchase a house or we bid on a house, then the timing is right and we can still tell our secrets or the information that we have about our experience, and both we and others benefit from exactly what we had to say. We've already talked about the energy of the gate 13, and since today we're talking about the gate 33, let's talk about the hanging gate 33. One of the biggest themes with the energy of the gate 33 is this concept of being in retreat or being away from people, to go through your process, to understand exactly what your experience meant to you, and to also decide how you want to share it with the collective, how you want to express yourself. You need to get clarity about exactly how everything worked out for you, what you learned from it, what was important, what wasn't important, and also to decide if it's even worth sharing with other people or not. Abstract energy can be one and done, and you move on to something brand new. So after we've completed an experience, if we don't take the time and effort to actually be alone, to have some solitude, to sort of go through exactly what happened within our experience, then there's potential that you won't have a memory that is actually the end product of all experiential energy. It's all that we really have left after we've done something. You ride a horse for the first time. If you don't remember exactly how it felt to you, then you're not going to be able to share it with other people in a way that they can benefit and learn through your experience exactly what it feels like to ride a horse. It's right after we've completed an experience that we are at our weakest point, we could say, where if we don't take the time to sort of go through exactly what happened, it's very easy to jump into another experience before we've actually had time to reflect on the one we just went through, which can lead to somebody who collects experiences but never really learns much from them. You're never really stopping to actually see what happened, to smell the roses, you could say. And you never really get the whole impact of what your experience meant to you. And if you don't get that concept of what it meant to you and you don't get the proper memory, then it's almost impossible for you to articulate or tell others exactly what happened or what you felt or how it was for you or what you learned or any of those types of things. Without that reflection and the contemplation of exactly how it all went, nobody else can really learn from your experience. And in truth, the collective is all about sharing. And without this ability to share in a way that other people can understand your experience, the process of experiential energy never really comes to a conclusion. So that's why privacy is such a big part of this energy. Reflection and understanding exactly what happened in our experience is one of those things that's extremely personal. It's only after we begin to share it with other people that it becomes more of a collective perspective. If other people are involved within our privacy or within our reflection time, then that's when we can have influence of others. And if we have influence of others, then we're not necessarily going from what we went through. We're going from the perception of other people. So if we look at, for instance, there's an accident on the freeway or something like that, and 10 people saw that accident, 10 people will have 10 different versions of exactly how that played out. There might be a few things that are the same, but we're all individual and we all see things in a specific way. So that's why having the privacy and the time alone is extremely important after you've gone through an experience, so that you can find out exactly what it is from a personal experience, not from an experience that is shared by anybody else. When you carry the energy of the gate 33, you can be somebody who likes to meditate, to contemplate, to be alone, to be away from people, to have a lot of privacy. And you can also be the type of person who likes to talk about your experiences or your reflections or the things that have happened in your life. You could also document the experiences of your life. You could be somebody who loves history, who likes to recover history or recover the experiences of other people so that we can benefit from them. No matter how you express the end product or share with the collective, having privacy and your own space to actually have that moment of reflection is essential so that you can actually share in a way that you've had the time to contemplate or to have that revelation before you give that information to somebody else. Some people who have shown their historical perspective or how they've woven the stories of history into their literature would be someone like Hilary Mantel, who is considered one of the best-selling authors of historical fiction. And what's interesting is that she has Mercury in the gate 33 line 2. Mercury is connected with literature, writing, communication of any kind, and for her it was with history. Also, Chris Brennan, an astrologer who is the host of the Astrology podcast, who is someone who was at a very young age worked on a project called Project Hindsight, where they in fact uncovered a lot of traditional astrology, a lot of the astrology that was lost. And now, because of the work that he did and many others on Project Hindsight, we've discovered a lot of information about traditional astrology that have been lost for a long time. He also is somebody who does a lot of interviews with astrologers that are experienced, and his whole point is that he wants to have the information or their experiences documented so that future generations can benefit from what they know. And when we come to the end of an experience and think about it and reflect and have the privacy to understand exactly what it meant for us, then we can share with other people so that they can benefit from what we've learned. The experiences of our life can be great treasures for future generations, but only if we take the time to be in our solitude, to have our privacy, to organize our thoughts and our memories so that we can share in a way that is impactful and will carry on into future generations. And when we've learned how to share our experiences and understand that a cycle has closed and a new one can begin, the mandala of life turns again, and we move into the energy of the army. This is the energy of logical direction, one that can lead us into the future. This is where we find our roles and the archetypes of leadership. This is the gate 7, the gate of the role of the self in interaction. Well, that's all for now, and I'll be back next week with episode 35, the gate 7, the gate of the army. Until then, take care, and I'll see you again soon.